In this game in particular, Kuro's drafted a Rubik, which almost certainly is going to be for him, right? He's, one of the most famed Rubiks in the world. Probably you could comfortably say he's the best Rubik in the West. I don't know if you think there's anyone who compares or comes close to him out of Western supports.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I was asking if you think there's anyone in the West who's comparable to kuroky as a Rubik player.
In the West? I don't really think so. Like Kuro is very, like,
Radiant team
the only person I ever thought was better than him was FY.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there was a stage where you might have, I think there's a stage where you might have said Chuan, not recently.
There was a stage and there were some moments at TI, but what makes it so great is the consistency of both Kuro as well as FY. There is no one else from the Western scene which I would flag up as high as Kuro. There's a couple up there which you'd say, you know what, these guys are pretty damn good, but not at that level. Like the timing which Kuro and FY are able to achieve during the fights, and not just the timing, but the decision making, the right ability to steal, and the perfect positioned person to use it on. That's what sets them apart from everything else. It's their experience in Dota makes their Rubik play beyond godlike.
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to challenge Kuro in the West for Rubik status, it might be Lil from Virtus Pro. And I mean, he hasn't had enough time to prove that point, but of all the Rubik I've seen him on, since Virtus Pro has been really performing really well as a tier 1 team, he's been impeccable. But as you said, just for that consistency, for that like long run of excellent Rubik play, I put Kuro ahead of him, and
Lil is an amazing player. Like, I do love watching him play. Yeah, give him time. Give him time. He could be number 1 eventually.
Yeah, Lil actually played like something ridiculous, like 100 Skyraths and 100 Visages in matchmaking before he actually joined Virtus Pro, and his Rubik gets that status too, definitely. Like, he's considered, I think, informally by a lot of people to just be like the foremost Western player on the Skyrath and the Visage for those reasons. I guess maybe AUI has something to say about the Skyrath, but certainly on the Visage, maybe AUI has something to say about that too, honestly. But yeah, going back to the draft at hand, avoiding a tangent now. There's a TA pickup by kuroky as the final pick there. So their dual core will be the TA and the Phantom Lancer. It is a bit of a situation where it's more of a tri-core because Darkseer is quite a farmy offlaner. But Darkseer is one of those ambiguous ones in the positive way, where I say Spirit Breaker can be problematic to not know if you're farming or supporting. Darkseer provides the utility while he farms. You know, he can surge, he can vacuum, he can win you those fights. That
was going to be an amazing point before he lagged out. That was going to be an amazing point. And you know it. You know it. It would have been amazing. We'll get a Scant back. Yep. Poor guy. Back again with us, man. Nope. Nope. I hear a keyboard type for half a second. And then he's gone. Alright, so I don't know where he's going to end his point. But when he comes back, he can do that. But now... Okay. Nope. Nope. He's actually going to drop for a moment and we'll bring him back in. For now, I'm really liking the 5Jungs lineup. Like, it's really solid in the laning phase. Their team fight potential is really good. They've got some nice combos that they can combine with. There's a lot of good stuff all around. Like, even from the jungle area, the rotation ganks, got a lot to work with. Where Monkeys kind of has this timer they have to hit. You run both an anti-mage and an Ember Spirit. It takes you a while before these guys are going to come online and be strong enough they're actually able to fight. And the Clockwork is kind of the same thing. You need to find some levels, and they need to find the items, finding these initial ganks, to then be strong enough to initiate in. That's where the SD and the Lina kicks in. It is a very classic combination. LGD International, for me, is one of the first ones that flagged for me on this. But I'm sure there were more before them. They ran this dual roaming combination, and the SD just runs in, sets up with the disruption. Lina follows up with Light Strike Array. Have your catcher if you got that as well. You should be able to find yourself a nice pick-off. Scant, I really actually want to hear the end of your thought that you left us with at the end of the draft.
Yeah, I think I was talking about Was it the Dark Sea I was talking about still, or did you hear any of the next thing I was?
The Dark Seer was kind of like the last thing you were talking about.
Okay, so I was talking about the Dark Sea and saying how I like it as an offlaner in order to both be able to farm and be able to provide that utility. It does both very well actually, so it doesn't, rather than have the ambiguity, it's more like multi-purpose. But what I was about to jump into was the Ember Spirit pickup, which was the last pick of the draft. And it makes me automatically, from the start of this game, favor 5Jungs, because honestly, running the Ember with the anti-mage just reminds me so much of that first game, running the Ember with the PL. And then I said, I don't know if it's the draft itself, which was the issue, but they ended up being not too sure about who's doing what when and which fights to take. And part of that goes down to the fact that you have two heroes that feel a lot like one position heroes. And I think they kind of have that again here. Sure, Notail can play the Ember Spirit in a similar way to the Storm Spirit. It can be more space creating than space taking, but it's certainly not how he was playing it in the first game. He also did Rash the Boots of Travel along with Miracle's PL. And if they both go heavy farming builds and heavy farming playstyles, could just get awkward on the map for them, like it did in the first game.
Yeah. That was something I was bringing up before you came back in as well. I'm worried there's not going to be enough space and time to make that space on the map. Yeah. I'm never a big fan when I see an anti-mage and an Ember Spirit together, because of how long it takes them to come online. It's like watching a Naga Siren, as well as like a... Oh, who else needs a crap ton of farm? I had a combo in my mind, but I lost the second hero halfway through saying Naga Siren.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe you're thinking of Terrorblade, but we don't talk about him right now, do we?
No one talks about him right now, unless it's in like sad memories with Salt.
You know that? Did you know that Puppy like only plays Terrorblade in pubs and like has some ridiculous? He's got like an 85% win rate.
He would seem like the guy that would actually pick Terrorblade just so people would go, "Man, you suck, man! Like, why'd you pick a hero that you can't win with? And then he'll win with it," and be like, "Yeah, what were you saying?"
Yeah, it's some kind of running joke. I've heard a lot of people commenting about it, but he's got like a separate profile, a Smurf account he plays on, where he literally just plays Terrorblade and always wins with it in pubs. So look, pubs are totally different to professional games, and I'm definitely not going to be the first one to make the claim that Terrorblade is currently viable. But it's one of those heroes you expect there'll be some kind of change in the next patch, and all of a sudden it might be a thing again.
Maybe. Some people would be very happy if that was the case. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be one of them. Terrorblade for me, like, I kind of like it with his early tap pressure. Like, Metamorphosis is such a crazy thing. Like, push down buildings or just to attack it. It's so good. For me, the Sunder is just this weird ass thing in the middle of a team fight, which just doesn't make any logical sense that you can swap life with someone.
Yeah, and it's really, 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 really powerful. It means it's a bit like that Bloodstone thing I was talking about before, where it sucks that late in the game you can almost perfectly execute a gank and then the guy just kills himself and you get nothing. Same thing against Terrorblade. If he just sunders you at the last second, suddenly the whole thing turns around. So it's a particular kind of issue to deal with. Honestly, I think Terrorblade at the moment, aside from his base stats, stat gain, the fact that he's really squishy in terms of HP, he's got 3 really powerful skills, and then that one conjure image it's just too nerfed. Like his images it can't tank, and that's why the hero's not in the metagame right now.
I'm happy never to see him return. One person though I'm still pushing for is Jakiro. I want Jakiro back. The guy was amazing. Tower pressure, team fight control. Even had like setup stuns once he picked up a Yule Scepter. Like combos with everyone because of his macro pyre, which basically destroys forests near and far. Right here.
Jakiro actually, in some small way, has left his mark on the metagame in the long run, because that's the hero that brought Yules into the metagame in the first place. And then everyone was buying Yules, and then Yules got nerfed, and still there's a lot of people buying Yules, but it started with Jakiro. Like that's like when the hero became a big deal. The big part of it was you could Yules into Ice Path, and that's just really good initiation.
I like the other part though, which like BZZ took it, where you just go the high points up in Liquid Fire, and you just use them as a tower pressure. It actually ran him as like a #1 position, which was so damn good.
Yeah, and it's nice to see people doing those kind of like unusual things. I always like to see a one position hero which is not a conventional, just like agility, farming, hard carry, novel, and when it works, it shows a different approach and mindset to the game, which shows that the players are actually thinking about it and not just, rinse repeats, which I like.
Right, so let's look towards our game, as it appears we are going to be running something slightly different at the start, which is an aggressive posture from Monkey. So they've moved 4 players down to the bot lane. Purposely TP'd Moon in earlier so he can get that observer ward down, so there wouldn't just be a straight counter ward. And now they move themselves. Actually, they're not moving exactly where I thought they were going to, because now Fly gets scouted out. Okay, they all get scouted out by the PL, and they'll drop a sentry ward. That was actually a ping coming out from Rubik saying he thought the sentry ward was dropped here, but they were too far up. So they might work it out saying, no, I think it's a little bit higher. Either way, they know there's a ward there, and Monkeys doesn't find the first blood. They wanted momentum, and they won't gain it.
It's so misleading at the moment. You can always get misled early on to think that dire teams are going for an aggressive tri-lane just because of how commonly they go to secure those early wards.
Yep.
Teams really just don't want the Radiant having that pool camp.
Hello? He doesn't win the block war. Kuro lost one of them, so he had to come in and try and stop it. And because of that, it's a small little inch. You wanted it straight down the mid, and it moved to here, so he has to use the aggro instead to get that control back. It's gonna be a fun little battle for this middle lane. TA up against an Ember Spirit. Because I always kind of like it watching an Ember Spirit get aggressive with Flame Guard and Searing Chains like we're watching Notail do. But once TA hits Side Blades, the spill damage that can come back over to an Ember Spirit causes real problems. One, because it pushes the lane, and two, because it keeps removing his life. If you can drop him down low enough before he can get that bottle, you gain control of the mid lane.
Yeah, it's a very tricky lane actually, because it's a lane where there can be a lot of action. It's possible for either hero to actually get a kill, but there isn't a direct route to it, especially not for the TA. And while Ember Spirit has a good way to deal with the refraction, he doesn't, as you said, have a very good way to deal with the side blades. There's a Earthshaker coming in, was looking for a fissure. If he got the right fissure, there might be a kill attempt there, but I'm not too sure that he is going to get that fissure.
I'd love to wait until that Flame Guard is down. Does the Diner's vision? Tower looks out that far, like, okay, now he was close enough. He'll get the fissure, and he locks Notail. That'll be first blood. FATA will take it. And that's a big blow. They're pinging out saying, like, do they have an observer ward here? And the answer is no. But at the same time, the Ember should have seen that.
Yeah, Notail, I think, getting a little bit punished for playing the lane quite aggressively, and in the first minute or so, it felt like he was getting good value from doing that. So he went for it again, and in that sense, it's probably intelligent for them to rotate the Earthshaker there, thinking, we're expecting him to play aggressive, so it's a matter of time. And I don't know if you caught that, but
yeah, I caught the tail end of it. It's like Corey just managed to drag back the clockwork, and then one final lance to finish the job. With Doppelganger all around him, the clockwork just dropped too quickly.
Yeah, Rubik is a really strong support against the clockwork, because it's always the cog that provides the insurance for the clockwork in any laning situation, and you can pull him out of the cog. It actually counts against him because it blocks his way back.
And then you got to battle through your own cogs to try and get the upper hand. So like, good luck with that. They're looking for another fissure on middle lane as Notail. The flame gun is up. Stun time is almost enough for FATA because he missed the melt strike. He attacked from low ground. That would have been a guaranteed kill over on the Ember with a secondary attack. But he attacked with meld while you're still on the stairs.
Yeah, so not quite working out as a result of a slight misexecution, and that will be the bottle for Notail coming in now, which will probably let him stabilize somewhat in this lane.
At the same time, FATA has already been running his bottle. He would have preferred this Curry to be carrying his boots as well. Makes rune securing a little bit easier for him. That TA's got 19-5, more CS than the anti-mage at the moment. But that just means also Matumbaman's a little bit behind. Like, he's 14-5 on this PL, not exactly where he wants to be. But there has been some level of problems created by this clockwork, where Miracle is just farming again. MC had to run himself off, so we've got the bottle in his hands. It looks like he was down the bottom lane, probably farming up inside of his own jungle. Nice fissure, but it's just going to keep him away from the rune for a little bit. Jerax doesn't have much more to work with. Like, the rune's still got some time to spawn up. And yeah, he's actually going to let this go. They're moving in the SD as well as the Lina.
Yeah, no, I was saying in the previous game that there was an awkward pressure on 5Jungs because they had that Razor pick. They didn't have heroes to group up and push, and that's usually what Razor wants to do. But then Razor's also not a hero you're very comfortable just casually trading farm for an extended period of time with. And here they don't have that issue. Sure, they don't have the push, but they don't need to. I mean, it's not obvious that they need to be constantly aggressive. They've got good scaling cores. Speaking of those cores, one of them is under threat now, but this is just a scout for a stack. There's no stacks here.
The only ones who have stacks is, in fact, monkeys. But they're going to come over towards FATA. A disruption, easiest way to get rid of those refraction charges. Actually doesn't have them up. So they bring detection, the Fidge is going to be there, and you can just melt. They have a sentry ward. FATA's going to move deeper into the tree line where jerax is, and they're not close enough to find the kills. And in fact, now you have Iron Shell prep with the search. They're sending FATA to the front lines. He might have been looking for the side blade line. He didn't know where Cr1t was. Decided just not to attack into the Ember Spirit. Monkeys, they committed their smoke to that. They moved their Lina and their SD in so deep. And now these guys have to back up, but there's not much more to show for it. They missed the stack timing as well because of this gank. Shut down, Matumbaman. Okay. Give points for a desire to kill. The action of killing isn't there. The clockwork hook shot will fail. Looks like Ember Spirit's in more trouble again. FATA, oh, this could be a very quick game. 4-0, you've got 2 kills already over on your Templar Assassin. Your PL was just given a kill on bottom, and he had an assist as well, because he didn't actually get the kills. See, there's 2 assists in Kuro's list, because the Cr1t wave got the last hit in that last attack. So, the clockwork attempted hook shot fails to get the solo kill over on the PL. If it worked off, we'll be praising him as a hero. But it just makes Jung's momentum even stronger now.
I'm actually gonna go ahead and blame the fact that I'm internet problems on reborn, because I dropped from the call, and then as soon as I like restarted Dota, I wasn't connected to the server. Then it gets fine, and then I just checked and I'm actually losing packets to the game server. For some reason, it's like taking a toll on my line. I don't know why.
It's funny you actually say that, because I know I was setting up my home streaming setup, and I actually had problems, would you believe, with Reborn. Reborn made it so my stream would just drop frames for no apparent reason. And it's not because I was pushing my graphics too hard. It's just it took too much from the internet line somehow, which I didn't think was really even possible.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the technical details of that, but that's it's exactly what it feels like is happening to me. But it seems fine for now, and I sort of heard you saying that it feels like a game that could come and go really quickly, and I'm tempted to agree with the way that the game has started, because they are running that anti-mage Ember Spirit dual core. They both need to get a lot of space. Ember Spirit's really not started well. Anti-mage has got good farm, but we're not too far from a position where 5Jungs can deal with him. Almost no cost themselves, because there isn't pressure on them at the moment.
It's the position I was in the last couple of games, or even the last couple of days, where I sit here as an observer, and I'm like, you know what? I can see. I look about 20 minutes ahead in this game. And I'm seeing a Templar Assassin running around with Blink Dagger Desolator, killing off absolutely everyone, because the start that she gets is unbelievable. The missed chances the FATA is getting is also unbelievable. That's the second kill he's been denied because of a missed chance uphill against Notail. And he may go for more. The Offensive Spirit's left behind, so he's making a run for the rune. He knows he can't get it while the Earthshaker is there. It's this position where I'm looking. Okay, Moon, don't walk up here. Kuro will put you on that cliffside. Okay. Kuro won't put you on that cliffside. They changed that hill with telekinesis grab, but I'm still certain it works.
Yeah, some of the hills that they stopped you being able to do directly, you can still do if you just pull the hero really far.
Yep.
And then it like ends up putting them there. Not sure if that's one of them.
It was just cliff hugging it. That's why I was like, wait, what is this? FATA again gonna go for the attack. And Notail, where are these spirits? The fissure is there, and he's got one back behind the tower. Be able to survive. Commit so much to get so little. And back to what I was saying though, like I'm looking 20 minutes in and I'm just seeing a Desolator, Blink Dagger, TA, killing off everyone and probably even halfway into something like a BKB. And then you've got Matumbaman, who should be able to have his BTs as well as, well, whatever other item he really wants to go for. Drums was his poison of choice last time. I'd actually prefer him to see him go into something more like a diffusal blade, nice and early on, and just attack that way.
Yeah,
And with
I
that,
think
I don't see Monkey can do anything else.
I think it's a possibility. I think he gets the drum and then the diffusal blade. That's probably the most likely build order. But yeah, it's a very, very big problem for Ember Spirit to have a bad start, because there isn't going to be space for him to recover when anti-mage is farming all the stacks and farming all the jungle camps. And Ember Spirit's a hero that, if he's under-farmed and even if he's under-leveled, really struggles actually to have that game impact. Honestly, 5Jungs have much better team fights, so the routes that Monkey Business need to take to win this game does involve splitting up. Like Ember Spirit and anti-mage both need to do a whole lot of split pushing and get really big.
Yeah, you need BTs for this. You need the anti-mage to have his Battle Fury done for this. I know Miracle's timing is still very good for it, but I'm just worried the timing is going to be a little bit late. That's my only concern.
Yeah, and it's also a case where it might not be enough. Last game I was saying they had one really big problem, the anti-mage, and that was their only problem. And this game, if he's their only problem, I don't know if he's enough of a problem the way the game's progressing.
Ember Spirit to the front lines, and FATA Mel strikes him already. Telekinesis pick up, they're going to drag him back down, but the defensive spirits are still there. I not coming in close enough and still had disruption up, so if things got a little bit more rough, they would have had a second choice. And did Kuro just still... Yeah, he just stole Fire Remnants.
Well, honestly, every time I look at this mid lane, if we were to do like a little highlights package of the mid lane of this game so far, it's basically Notail jumping back to his spirits at the tower over and over and over.
Yep.
If I look away, I look back, he's about to die, he jumps back to his spirits, and sure, it's better than if he's dying a lot, but it tells you something about the dynamic of the lane, that he is playing on the defensive permanently.
Yeah, and he had to expend so much to just gain a couple of CS, and you're seeing the result in it. Like, if you actually just check the CS board, it's 72 for 20 over on the Templar Assassin to the 34 for 1 of an Ember Spirit. So Notail's keeping himself in the game. He's not being able to have any other presence to do like anything but that. Now you're also dragging and fly. So this roaming combo I was expecting to come out from Crit and Fly isn't happening. Like the SD disruption to the Light Strike Array, as classic as old as time. Notail, again. Fly helps keep him alive. He's got
it's literally like, that's his game. Just jump to Remnant, jump to Remnant, jump to Remnant. That's what he's doing.
He's not giving up more, that's good. But I'm also looking at now, this is going to be a quad stack of Ancients from Fyong.
And that's so good for the TA, and you're exactly right. TA, once she hits her item timings, could really just dictate the pace of this game. Just could go around and force everyone to react to what she's doing, because that's how powerful she is. That's how she's gonna be making those solo kills. And if she's not alone, if she has the backup of the Earthshake or the Rubik, those are kills guaranteed on just about anyone once she picks up her first item.
I'm interested to see what her first item is too. We saw the Desolator first earlier tonight. But I'm wondering if it's even worthwhile going for this Blink Dagger to chase up after that Ember Spirit. Because the Ember's not doing any damage while that Refraction is up. So your Blink Dagger won't be put on cooldown. So, and actually then again, you've also got a haste rune, so maybe you're just like, well... You've actually got enough for the double Mithril Hammers now. It's so close to bust buying the full Desolator and you're only 13 minutes in. It's a blink. It's a blink. He'll go for the pickoffs.
Yeah, it's almost guaranteed that he's going Blink Desolator or Desolator Blink. The order is what we were talking about, and I like the Blink. I think to be active this early, just to recognize the level of advantage that you actually have, and it gives him a possibility of killing Ember Spirits in those situations where Ember gets away on one hit, jumps to nearby Spirits. Yeah. You can blink after.
It's the mindset for me. Mindset that Fun Fyong actually want to try and find kills. And now also coming up, oh wait, I actually thought he was going to put the Iron Shell over on the Templar Assassin. A Hated Rune Templar Assassin, yeah, okay, you find crit, Fisher will connect. No reason to use the Blink Dagger just yet, just use the Haste Rune. But hook shot in from the Clockwork, this could cause some problems. Refraction is up, and Templar Assassin, no meld available, but a lot of one charges up. Jerax being pushed back, he gets walked into two different cogs. Miracle comes in, and the TA will drop, the Clockwork will take the kill. The Dynasty Wall's not going to make it any easier, however, with the Fisher to find the kill over on the Clockwork. Looks like anti-mage was able to find another pick off as Kuro Well, he's got Flame Guard stolen from the Ember Spirit. We'll see if he can use his own abilities against him. Fly running away from the Darkseer illusions. We also have the Iron Shell up. Kuro, he may not actually escape from this one. Back underneath the tower. He does end up going down. The Darkseer did pick up the SD with the illusions. But this is a 3-for-3 trade-off. Thank you, Teamfight Recap, for getting everything. That ended up coming in. It was the first rotation in from the TA.
Yeah, so the loss for 5Jungs is that their TA's big blink dagger reveal actually achieved almost nothing. She just died. The gain for them is that the peel didn't come. The peel wasn't there the whole time. They still got a 3-for-3 trade. The kills they got were probably less important. They didn't kill either of the two main cores. Anti-mage does have his Battle Fury completed now. He's doing pretty well. And it's tough because I think if TA finishes Desolate and goes into that kind of fight, she probably does a lot better. She did get a bunch of hits off. She didn't really get value out of the positioning item, the blink that she rushed.
Yep.
Because there were a bunch of enemies waiting for them as they got there.
That really was the problem, though. Like, you could have used a blink dagger. Like, there was a chance you could just blink forward and melee strike the Lina, but they went for more. Like, the greed actually did not pay off. Because of that, the Clockwork had time to TP in, hookshot in, and then you isolate the TA. So yeah, I was saying it's it just wasn't the play.
Yeah, it's not going to cost them that much. Kind of thing where if they do that one or two more times, then you start to really worry because anti-mage is now a huge issue.
Yeah,
I mean his farm is starting, and I trust Miracle to be on top of his farming game from the last game, and I. He's going to keep escalating in a similar vein to last game unless there's huge pressure being put on his team, and even then, he's probably comfortable to just keep farming if the pressure's on his team and not on him.
Coming over for Miracle. Watch this blink timing. The Fissure's already going to connect, and they just Mel Strike in. And with the Fade Bolt, yep, they have enough damage. It was a level 4 Fade Bolt, and the blink from Kuro put him in the perfect position to get control from telekinesis. They kill off the anti-mage, and now they push the tier 1 tower. And Matumbaman's in charge of defending the bottom. Actually going to triple TP down here. The Lancers will slow down the Ember Spirit, and the Fissure actually gets the illusion in front. Ember Spirit can't get out. It looks like he doesn't have himself a Spirit, or else he would have jumped to it. Actually, no, he has no mana. He's in real trouble. The Ember Spirit will drop on bottom lane. Kuro's going for more, using that anti-mage blink to drag back the Clockwork. Commit the Echo Slam as well to find the damage, and they will find that kill. So the T1 tower might survive on top. They take another 2 kills on bottom, and this time they found the cause.
Yeah, and this is more like what we were talking about, what we expected the game to look like based on the early stages of the game. That 5Jungs just have control, and they know they have control, and if they approach the situations correctly, in fact, mid, FATA might get a solo kill here. And good stun and TP out by Crits, just making perfectly sure that he gets as much, disabled time for his TP as possible, just barely making it out. But it's a small consolation in the bigger picture.
Yeah. And the bigger picture still being the fact that Templar Assassin's getting momentum, and Notail, well, he put the defensive spirit down, which will save him. A hook shot well off target from Moon. No Fissure available, only Totem Stun, but the Cogs actually pushed him down and away from Notail. Darkseer is rotating over. Looks like anti-mage was able to pick up the top tier 1 tower in the meantime, and that'll complete up his Vladimir's offering. Which opens up Roshan. But if they lose this tier 1 tower in the mid lane, Monkey won't be feeling anywhere near as secure about taking out Roshan.
Yeah, and if anti-mage dies a couple more times in the next, 5 to 10 minutes, I think that's actually enough to control him. They showed they could kill him once. They're definitely capable of it. And I don't think, right now, already at this point, I feel like 5Jungs know anti-mage is the only chance we have of losing this game. Ember Spirit is just not in that position.
He actually got the jump up. He had a 1 in 3 chance of getting that position all the way back to base to heal in time before the poison can have its effect. Doppelgang it and put himself on the cliffside. A lucky, lucky man. But
yeah, and early on we saw the illusion spawning to block Notail as well, so I guess Matumbaman's got some good Phantom Lancer mojo going.
I love this from the Darkseer. He got himself an illusion rune, so he just set an Iron Shell version of himself up to creep skip.
Yeah, it's a good creep skipping tool. It's also pretty good to confuse the enemies. Often if there's something buffed, doesn't look like an illusion.
Definitely no doubt.
Middle tower
the rest of them are coming up though. That creep wave lost a lot of its life. It's gonna make it very difficult for anti-mage to hold his tier 1 tower, and that's really like the end goal right now from Spun Tretье. They just want this tier 1 tower gone, so they can establish a heavy ward control over Miracle and always make him fearful. Like, he just walked over a TA trap, so they know he's in the trees. And he'll blink back further. He'll just have to give up the top tower.
I wonder why he's staying around so long. I expect him to have TP'd out a while ago.
He's dead. He's dead. Can't make enough copies. Darksteel will arrive, actually stopping Notail from getting out, cancelling that TP, and FATA looking for the other opening. Cr1t and Moon with the two healers looking at. That Blink Dagger should be off cooldown in 4 seconds time, so just slowing him down. Cr1t will start the TP, and the damage, the fissure will be there from the Earthshaker, and he blinks over the cogs. One little bit of burn, but they still want to find the two. The TA trap will slow down Moon. He won't be able to deny himself up to these harpies. The TA, too much damage coming out from her. That's actually her full desolator from finding those two pickoffs. And they lost the PL for it, but it's a PL. Your TA is all about the momentum right now.
The PL is actually the backup plan at this moment. The TA is the real plan. And Kuro's been fighting Miracle all the time while that was happening at the top lane. Kuro tried to TP in, and I saw Miracle actually just cancelled it, blinked in, mana voided him. And Kuro's desperate trying to bait Miracle to blink at him because he really wants to steal blink. That's what this is all about.
There's help coming in. Like, he's about... Like, Miracle's refusing to do it. Like, the Flame Guard's killing off the creep wave, and now Notail's gonna arrive, and because of all the TPs to bottom lane, no one can come and help him. So Kuro will die. He played with fire just a little bit too long.
Yeah, it's clever by Miracle actually to recognize straight away, because there was a very long time that Kuro was just standing there exposed in front of him, and it's easy for an anti-mage to think, oh, that's a Rubik, I can kill him, but the sole purpose of Kuro being there, he wants to steal the blink, and Miracle just doesn't use the blink the entire time until Kuro's dead.
Okay, two huge items just arrived. Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker. So monkeys have to be really careful about their team fights now. As long as there's mana for an Earthshaker, that Echo Slam could cause raw problems, even if it's just level 1. It's the initial stunning control time after. And FATA finished up the Desolator. And not only Desolator, he's got a regeneration rune. So if he feels confident enough, he can move up and stop Miracle from doing his farming, which he's being watched the entire time. This is Jungle Voyeur. Or he can potentially blink himself in and go in for Roshan. A little bit more dangerous, but it's a level 4 meld strike. You got a lot to work with.
As a good habit, they probably want to kill the tier 1 mid, which they can very easily do with the Desolator. I think teams very rarely go for the rush play unless they smoke in, if there's still tier 1s up. But the bot tier 1's down and the mid tier 1's going down right now, and that'll definitely open up the possibility for him to go into that rush pit soon.
We're still looking for a pickup. Miracle enjoys this top lane ever since that Observer Wall got placed on the lane. He knows exactly what he's up against and how far he can push it. There's no way for Spun Tretье just to TP support in here unless it comes from this kind of angle. The surprise blink to fissure, but it would require other TPs onto the tier 2 tower, and antimage just backed up the second he felt something was wrong or a push too far.
Yeah, I do think that both the cores are playing a lot further out than in the previous games in the series. And what that's about is that both games of the previous series, there was a Storm Spirit. I mean, it was on once per team, but it's a really unique hero. There was also a Spirit Breaker going around. Those kinds of heroes not being in this draft means that you're not permanently scared of being killed. That can actually backfire because you're maybe a bit too careless. Think, well, they can't just jump at me from anywhere. And when a smoke gank like this happens, if you were being a bit or not careful enough, you could get caught out. But actually, this is going to look to be a big team fight, and I think this favors 5Jungs.
The Observer Wall lets them see everything. It's up to monkeys now. Do they feel like they can do this? FATA's just running over to attack into Cr1t and Fly, and they're on the wrong side of Cr1t. They Yule step to him up, but at the same time it's the hookshot allows him to blink away to safety. The refraction charges let him survive, so the lean is down the backpack, and MC is just gonna frickin' run it. He realized he's taking a little bit too much poison damage, and they've also found Bigdaddy at the very back end of the play. They've caught out two. anti-mage is taking the tier 3 tower at the same time. They have to stop this, and that's why jerax TP's back. But you've already taken out 2 heroes. Matumbaman can keep pushing. The only thing you don't have, though, is FATA. FATA TP to the top lane, so you can't force this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, it would have been a really good trade for Monkey Business if they managed to pull out right then. And anti-mage is just getting all that split value, killing the tier 2, going onto the tier 3. It's still not that bad because he got that value, but it is quite bad. And we're moving closer and closer to this anti-mage versus the world situation. And I don't think this is the game for it. I think it's going to take more than just anti-mage. Someone on his team is going to have to be pushing through for him to get that value, because we're getting to the point where even if he's split pushing and a team fight breaks out, 5Jungs can win the fight so quickly that they can still deal with the anti-mage. They don't have to make those difficult decisions about whether they take the fight or whether they go stop the anti-mage.
Yep. Alright, Miracle, keep that farm rolling in, man. Anti-mage could be a huge ender to this game. Or it could just be with the pop play you're about to see from the rest of 5Jungs. I don't know why she made us start doing this. It's actually speaking German to say their name correctly.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's actually what I've kind of like pushed myself to do. If we actually say it the way it's meant to be pronounced, like as it's written, if you're not German translating, oh, fly. Wait, does he have a T? There's stun. Yeah, there's another stun. Actually, you could have caught him up there. But these SD illusions don't have anything to attack into because FATA just melded.
Yeah, and then there's also, by the way, jerax or jerax. Or I don't actually know exactly how you meant to say it, but I know there is a pronunciation that's correct, which is different the way most people say it.
If the Swedish, it's like the Swedish accent adds so much more, and that's kind of where like pronunciation changes with like the correct way to say it. It's like, well, okay, the Swedish guys would say this because the way the language works, the letters sound very, very different. So if you say it in their accent, then it's correct. But you could say it in an Australian accent, and it'll be correct as jerax.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense to me.
Yeah. It's like your accent. You have specific things that you change, and you're not gonna say to someone, it's just like, well, okay, I'm trying to think of like a great word. Like you're not gonna like if you got like back in your name, you're not gonna make everyone say bick. You're not gonna force that. It's like, well, I say my name as like git big. It's like, well, I'm not gonna make everyone say git big. That's just freaking stupid. Jump up, perfect from Miracle with the meld strike. Miracles, actually gets away. 22 lives. The TA trap will slow him down. He wants to deny himself in the corner, cuts through, and actually blinks himself into the other side of the tree line. They don't see him. They don't know. He's actually away to safety. Oh my! Please.
Keeping them in the game, I mean, that's all there is to say about it, because it really is. That's monkey business right now is anti-mage. And he needs, every time he does die, it's extremely costly. It's one step closer to 5Jungs winning the game.
And it's also that opening, like 5Jungs wants the anti-mage to die, because then they'll be like, okay, now we can take tier 2 towers without worrying about what the anti-mage is farming up. It's that space creation they're searching for. Also, I apologize to all South Africans I probably just offended.
I mean, there's lots of different South African accents. We have 11 official languages, so you can imagine there's lots of different accents.
I apologize to the 1 out of 11 people I might have offended in South Africa.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that to an international audience, from my experience, a lot of people think that your accent's similar to mine. They actually think South Africans and Australians sound the same, whereas to you that's pretty ridiculous. To me it's ridiculous. Like I don't think we sound alike at all.
No, you sound more like a Kiwi.
I sound like a Kiwi?
Yeah,
well,
like a New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because
Because
I also grew up listening to a lot of South Africans who live in New Zealand. So for me it always like put together, and the New Zealanders actually learned off your accent a little bit. Yeah.
I've had so many. I've had Australian. I've had Scottish. I've had people tell me I sound. I've had South Africans tell me I sound British. Or FATA might be. Does he just turn us around?
He is a man. He is more than a man. He 4 hits down that clockwork with the BKB protection and crit. Well, they catches out the Darkseer, but Darkseer gets the mech off. Is able to surge away. Is FATA actually able to fight this one? They're all pretty close together. 3 players. The side blades don't do enough work. And anti-mage, what a big kill for him to take. He gets the bonus money for taking out the Templar Assassin Spreak. What? Oh, that's not even words.
He gets Roshan too, I think. I think he probably just gets this. And if he does, that's gigantic. They really need to do something about this.
Do they know? Yeah, the pings are coming out. They know. Obviously, there's a TA trap right on top of him. And they're going to sentry wall. So yeah, they understand the trap is there. MC's waiting for the blink. He's going to try and blink back both crit and fly onto a hill, but they don't know about crit because he stole the invis rune. They'll send in the PL illusion. There's smoke at the back line. It's jerax, but Notail's the first one in close. And there's your back into the Echo Slam with a follow-up Fisher. The SD and Lena, they were the targets, and they're the ones that get hit. Moon will try and split this fight up by hook-shotting in, but they've lost the Ember Spirit. It's Matumbaman. He's managed to pick up a triple kill, 4-star up for the Clockwork. We'll try and help them escape. The Fusel charges are there for Matumbaman, so they just chase after Moon. Another stun from jerax. The ES play was perfectly synergized, and now they want more. Miracle's trying to play silly devils with these illusions, but it actually reveals out which one is the real one, but they don't care. Templar Assassin is legging it over, actually finding Miracle, goes for the Meld Strike. They're here for Roshan. They want the Aegis before Monkeys can reply.
I think that Monkey Business misdiagnosed the situation. It seemed like they thought TA is dead, we can do whatever we want. That's not... It's actually 5Jungs are not all just TA, whereas they are all just anti-mage. And maybe they got the idea in their head that each team just like reducible to one hero, but it's definitely not the case for 5Jungs. The TA is the one that's, you know, at the command. But Phantom Lancer, Earthshaker, Doxia, they're all making plays too.
And what can they do now? All Miracle can do is actually backdoor in the tier 1 tower. FATA takes out the tier 2, but they're looking towards the mid. The fish is going to fly onto Fly. And Matumbaman, this is a very simple kill for him. They get the Yule Scepter up from Cr1t. This will control jerax, Laguna Blade. The hook shot down ensures the kill, but they're going to lose their leader for this. One is an Earthshaker. He doesn't have his Echo Slam anymore. Yeah, Fissure is great, but the control factors you're getting from everyone else is just too much. And because these two heroes are down for 25 seconds, now it's a chance for them to push in. And where do they go? They're actually moving to bottom lane. They'd love to try and find a pick-off as well as take out the tower. Creep wave, did it get in? Backdoor regen. Okay, yep, doesn't turn on. Can actually bring down this tier 3 tower and potentially melee racks before they're back. Actually, not melee racks. They can do some damage to the range. So they are going to start in the melee. They land up to the Clockwork. They keep him back, so there's no space to hookshot forward. In fact, FATA jumps forward. He's still got his BKB up. But the Aegis Immortal is not with him. It's still with the Phantom Lancer. And that melee rank is down. FATA, oh, it's got 9 life. The back comes in for the wall. Fly was smack bang in the middle, but Matumbaman is chasing up after him. The Yule Scepter will keep him out. They have lost Kuro on the back lines as Laguna Blade, the PL, okay, I almost just want to stick with PL cam, but his Aegis Immortal will trigger, so they're going to come back over to him. Where's that TA? Does FATA want to fight? There's a lot more PLs coming into the mix because he's still fighting on the wall. The illusions are killing off the racks, so the melee racks will drop. But someone gets pushed out of the cogs, and now, okay, that's what will do it. It's the mana break being used on the Templar Assassin, actually spilling out to the Phantom Lancer to pick him off. And Miracle once more. MC will be on the run. There's no bash to stop this. But in a way, 5Jungs did get what they came for. They managed to get themselves the melee racks, so they get lane momentum.
You know what's funny? The reason that 5Jungs can't get more there is because FATA's out of mana. That's why. When you're talking about him turning around, coming to help the PL, the only reason he couldn't go in is because he just didn't have any mana. And it's not something that's often talked about in terms of anti-mage, the way it functions as a hero, that, you know, in an extended fight, he burnt the mana out of a certain hero, and that hero just doesn't have any mana. And if you need your mana to cast spells. Simple as that. Even if you're a tier, you still need to be able to have that small amount of mana to turn on your refract to put up some traps.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Kuro's gonna be so happy again. He's got double blink. I always love watching him do this. I actually had I'm not gonna use the word debate, but there was a conversation with PPD about this previously. He's just like, you know what? He loves having the Rubik. And once you got that blink dagger, you just try and steal anything else. But having that long initiation range, I seem to be more of a fan of it. So probably because I'm used to seeing Kuro just exploit it so much. Like his jump range is equal to that of the Sand King. And then you can still jump in and steal another ability. You might have to come back in a moment. There's Cr1t. Well, there's no detection here. They'll stun over on jerax, reveals Miracle, but yep, there's Kuro. So quick to the mark, throws Miracle down. He's got blink back off cooldown, but he also knows that Kuro can keep up with him. So look for the other targets. It's Cr1t who gets the Light Strike Array over on the Darkseer. And Kuro, well, he doesn't have any other real abilities at the moment. And in fact, why? Kuro, he needs 2 seconds of space to live here. Cr1t, the hookshot's too far away. The Templar Assassin. Kuro actually got the blink off. He's away to safety into the tree line. Keeping out home. There's an Earthshaker for the Lena. Remember that bottom lane is still going to have the momentum, and Matumbaman control this top lane quite nicely.
Yeah, that long-range initiation you were discussing, it's a bit like people talk about Enigma, and they say it's not just about getting a big black hole, it's about the implied threat of the black hole, so now you need to constantly worry about bunching. And it's the same thing, if you have that long-range initiation, the enemy team needs to constantly be worried about being out of position in any way, not just about bunching. If I'm too far away from my allies, if I'm too far out of our sort of safe zone, they've got this double blinking Rubik that can just catch me out, start on me, and I'm dead.
Finally getting to a BKB over on Miracle. PMS, or sells the PMS for it. But there's no buyback on this anti-mage when he does things like this. I suppose that the farm rate that you get from the anti-mage is still so good.
Yeah, the problem in this game is that it's just him. He needs other people to matter more. There is a Battle Fury up on Notail, so if the game draws out and he finds some space, he could farm into some more items, but and if you actually look at the overall net worth, they've got about 50k net worth and he's got nearly 25, so he's got almost half the net worth of his team. And I can tell you now, when Nox and I were looking at like stats for team gold distribution, going to TI or other tournaments in the year, the one position hero for a team is usually accrued maybe 28, 30, 32% of the gold. Nearing 50% is outrageous. It really just is outrageous. Just tells the full story of how dependent they are on him to win the game.
Miracle's visible. Kuro just jumps in for it. The Echo Slam's there with a follow-up Fissure. Keeping Moon out, he's going to hookshot in, but the Darkseer wall's in position. They've already found the Earthshaker, but it's the damage that's been done by all the illusions in the Iron Shell. Matumbaman just trying to back himself out of here. Kuro needs control, but he can't use any of it. Miracle's BKB protects him, and now the Templar Assassin. She managed to find a double, but now FATA, he is just isolated. Mel strikes out. He needs that extra time, and Kuro jumps in and straight back out again. Miracle will find this pickoff, and Monkeys, it's a triple kill for them. They're going to be able to get themselves a counteraxe from this. The buybacks are not available for all 5 players of FATA. This is a disaster position for them.
Does he get more than one Rax? I think he does. I think he might just get 2 sets of Raxes.
If they're quick enough, they can go straight for the GG. That's if they feel confident, but they don't know if there's buybacks or not. That's why they're not doing such a thing. They're pushing for multiple lanes. Pushing for top and mid.
It's so impressive. I give Miracle so much credit there because he made the right moves, he went on the right heroes, had the right timings, chased off the PL, make sure to finish him off, because if PL gets out, the rest of the team can withdraw. Clock's hooked in now on Earthshaker. Earthshaker gets forced into his fountain again, but it's the Raxes that matter. The Raxes are going down and they're going for the mega creeps.
They have to take that tier 2 tower in bottom lane. They can't do it without the creep wave. The only thing that's stopping them from grabbing megas right now.
Yeah, if that tier 2 is not there, the game just ended. And I've been talking all the time about how anti-mage is not enough, but he's just proven me wrong completely in that fight. I mean, he is ridiculously strong.
It's 2 games in a row they've managed to do that.
Do it with flair.
Same hero. FATA let them have him.
I really think there is. I'm not completely sure. I'm sure someone who's watching this knows, but I think there's some video like tribute to Miracle for setting some insane record for GPM on anti-mage. I think it's one of his specialties.
FATA.
And it is one of the trending heroes at the moment in the meta game.
They're getting,
and he is
just do something about it. Like this has to be like the second phase ban for Monkeys in the future, unless you really feel like you got a lineup that can counter the anti-mage.
Honestly, this game and the previous game, he's like a walking advertisement for the hero. I can't imagine how many people watching thinking, "Wow, anti-mage." You know, there was some jokey post on Reddit, I think today, about anti-mage just 1v9ing, and like if you're a really good anti-mage, and the post was like a troll post, but it feels a bit like that. I mean, we don't want to. It's definitely oversimplification, and it's never really one player winning a game for their team. But this is about as close as you get to that in a real competitive game of Dota. Other people do play a role, definitely, but he is carrying. He's defining the role of carrying in this game.
It's what all anti-mage lovers will love, and what everyone else will just say is boring Dota. But it's not even boring. Like, he's still been involved in a fair amount of kills. Out of all the kills the Monkeys managed to achieve, the 15 of them, he's still been there for 13.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like he's winning this game for them by split pushing whenever his team loses a fight.
Yep. This isn't rat mage. Like,
Yeah, exactly. He's played some fights really well, and it's been decisive. And look, I mean, look at that gold graph. Look at that swing in the last 10 minutes or so.
That's what we call a drastic change. That's... Ooh. Both experience and gold. That's so heavy. But at the same time, I don't really feel like 5Jungs is out of this. Yeah, you 2-rack this down, but you still got the bottom lane giving you momentum. And you're running a BT PL with potential for a huge Echo Slam ultimate from the Earthshaker. They just need the better positioning for it. Like, that last fight was just such a scramble for them. They didn't really have the lines, and they really need to have the lines too. That's where FATA gets his strength from. That's where he's just able to find these side blade hits, bring down so much of monkeys. You back them in, you attack one, and there's just a spill damage just comes in, and that buys PL time to create more of himself, which will be a little bit easier now he's got the heart. So in fact, yeah, they're TPing over. They're looking for Roshan. They really think that Roshan's on, so the TA trap will come down. Do I need to drop a sentry ward for this? Okay, yeah, there she goes. The Miracle's he's actually 1 minute and 20 seconds away from spawning. Everyone's way too premature here.
And Notail's actually picked up his data list, so he's like a pretty relevant Ember Spirit. He's not too far away from the TA and the PL anymore. While Miracle, the only thing I will say, if he somehow dies, doesn't have buyback, his team loses. The game's over. That's it. I mean, maybe we get to a similar situation because there's a tier 2 top. They can't get megas, but with that Desolates on tier, they probably just go for Throne. And the reason I brought it up is because in the previous game, there actually was a moment where Miracle nearly went down without buyback. So he needs to just be a little bit careful about that because there's a lot riding on his shoulders.
Here they come again. More PL illusions running in. Can't make any copies with the 2 attacks that illusion was able to do. Staring down Roshan. No one wants anyone with an Aegis Immortal. This top lane though is gonna be a real problem. Someone's gonna like walk up there and deal with it, and that one person kind of has to be the PL. Like Darkseer should just surge him right now, send him to the top lane, and then he can just BT back. Surge? No surge. Okay, fine. Ignore me.
He's keeping the surge all for himself, being...
What a selfish Darkseer.
Yeah.
He'll just stroke his beard, just sitting there. Yeah. Surge belongs to me. I'm like actually gonna smoke move. They're in pretty deep, there's no dire observer wall that sees him here, and Roshan is being done. Roshan's down a half-life, Fata's gonna be the first one to have that smoke broken on him, but jerax is ready to go, so here comes that fissure. Find 2, but too deep inside the pit. The back has no effect. Let's see. He gets the BKB off, but where's the damage? It all comes down from the Ember. He'll still finally get the wall off. Crit goes in deeper. Matumbaman has to tank up. He's got no mana left. He's down for the count. The Echo Slam is all too late from jerax. The consolation prize. Roshan might deny him. Nope, he actually dies legitimately. FATA will die, and that could be the game right there. A triple kill for the anti-mage. That is GG, well played. 5Jungs will be eliminated by Monkeys after having such a commanding game 1. They got done in game 2 and done in game 3 by the anti-mage. Not to mention, great play coming out from Monkeys.
And in this third game, it was much more the anti-mage show. In the second game, you know, we saw a lot of people making space, the anti-mage helping out a lot. Miracle had to do a lot of carrying in this game. Let's not forget that 5Jungs were far ahead at this stage in this game, and it looked like there was very little room actually for Monkey Business to win it, and they go on and win it. Obviously closing it out with that final fight, which involved Darkseer trying to initiate into Fog, which always difficult at the pits, but really I'm very, very impressed with Miracle's anti-mage, and I think you're exactly right in your earlier comment that it might be something that people start respect banning against Monkey Business.